Hey, great day to you all. I hope that you've all woken up super grateful to be alive this morning when you did. And I hope that you were able to tell yourself all of the amazing things that you needed to tell yourself. Like you're amazing, and you're capable, and you're strong, and you're smart, and you're beautiful, and that you're going to set the intention to get the most out of the experience of your day as humanly possible. And that you're going to remain at peace within yourself no matter what. What does that mean, really? Well, you're not going to give the permission to anybody else to shift how you're feeling. That's the truest power. And owning your power. I got a lot of things to talk about today. I made a TikTok video before about a channel message because a lot of people have been asking me lately, how do I know if something's for my highest good? All of this highest good talk. Is this the same thing as what's good for us and what's not good for us? Well, we all have unique experiences, and I say it all the time. So what is good for me may not be good for you, according to our learning, factually. Because, it depends how you look at things, too. Because like I've said, I have used the hardest experiences in my life to be the biggest gains for me, like intentionally. When something is really, really hard to live, well, there's an equal magnitude of learning in it. Yeah. And as intense as my life has been, well, that's the intensity that my learning must be in order for it to be effective. Because once you've rewired and you've rewritten your blueprint and you've done the work to be at the stage that I'm at, you're still within yourself no matter what you're living. And a lot of people say, oh, wow, you're a lot. You got a lot of energy. Yeah, but doesn't matter what I'm projecting. And yes, I'm passionate, but inside, I am at peace. And I feel love flowing through me all the time. And that does not rely on anybody else. Factually. And that's my fountain of youth. And it's not a joke when I say I'm getting younger by the day. I do not wish to grow old with anybody or grow old next to somebody who believes that they're getting old either. Because do you know that you only age according to you believing that you do? Yeah. Do you know that if you stayed in a state of joy and bliss, in that childlike state, in that truest essence of your being, well, you'd live a lot longer. Yeah. And there's factually people living on this earth right now that are like 200 years old and stuff. Of course there is. They just don't tell you about it. Yeah. Things are very possible, You can make anything possible that you want for yourself. But you got to be operating from your largest power of your being. And that's your highest potential, which functions for your highest good. Yeah, in perfect design. So how can you correlate that to knowing what outside of you is for your highest good? Well, I had to ask my boss today what would be the easiest way to correlate it for you guys with an expression of really understanding it and grasping it for what it is. And I was told to just associate it to nature. I said, well, what do you mean? And factually, it's, look, you know how you feel when you're at peace with yourself in nature. Right? You feel rejuvenated by it with all your five senses. You see the expression of its perfection. You see that you're not out there finding flaws and judging and shaming or blaming or guilty. No, you're out there feeling rejuvenated, at peace, in harmony with one when you're in nature. You don't feel outside of it. You feel a part of it. You feel one with it. You feel the magnitude of its beauty, and you feel its effects, the smells and the sounds and the tastes in the air and the whole. It revitalizes your essence of your being to get out in nature. Well, that's what every person that you allow into your life should be making you feel. Is the same thing. Anything that you put your time and effort and energy into that is of your highest good will actually give you the same type of feeling. Yeah, there is zero conflict and zero chaos when things are for our highest good and we use the discernment of our heart, no matter what. Okay? And that doesn't involve another person, place, or thing. Factually. And that's why they say even in nature, you're supposed to live in the flow with nature. That we're not supposed to be out there in nature disrupting it. Because it has a certain flow. Well, that same flow that nature has is the same flow of our highest potential that we have that fuels every one of our organs. So, for things outside of us to be of our highest good, well, we know simply by the way that it makes us feel. And the way it makes us feel is simple warning signs for restabilizing. You see, look, if you don't heed the warning signs, which are how things make you feel, because it's not what people say to you. It's not what you've got to live. It's not any of that. It's how you perceive it all and how you process it all and how you fuel that all with whatever you choose to react or to feel about it. Because a true emotional reaction doesn't have a label. No. It's a gush of energy that flows through you that has to be released. And if you deal with it right there and don't bottle it up, you let it flow through you and release from you, it restabilizes you. But too many people are into this, oh, I'm emotional and no. You're not actually. You're just allowing your body to keep you safe by having these emotional reactions, and to the point that you may even be addicted to these emotional reactions running on repeat. Yeah. So factually, when things are of our highest good and you're having the right relationships, even in friendships, well, your friendships are supposed to make you feel like nature does. Yeah, if they're right for you. And your partnerships also. And your interactions. So if you're not getting that feeling off of, like it's like they say too, where you're passionate about where you put your efforts, it's not work at all. Well, then that's operating from your highest good. Because it's the law of least effort. So like nature does it, it's elimination of the weakest. There is no survival of the fittest in nature. Nature is thriving. There's no competition. Everything has its unique frequency. Everything has its job to do. Everything plays a perfect role in it. Well, so do people. In our flow of a population, everybody has a special, unique part in it. And we all have unique learning because of how we pick up things and how we process them are uniquely to you. No two people think the same. No two people process the same thing. No two people look at the same movie, even watching it together, and process it the same. Well, it's supposed to be like that for a reason. It's for the expansion of the consciousness of all. That's why there's a cause and an effect to everything. That's why there's laws of the universe. That's why there's things that happen that play out in perfect design. And that's why I also encourage people to get in line with the laws of the universe and operate from that point. Big head, I hear you. She waits until I'm on the live and then she starts. And then I give her a minute to stop by herself. But then it gets to the point where, hey, if I don't react, I don't want to shift how I feel inside. So I gotta, and this is all a part of it. You don't let things get to a point in your life where you are feeling sickened by it. And that happens when we're running on repeat and there's no change. Everything around us is changing, but we aren't. Well, it's because you're not in the flow of what's, your highest potential or what you're doing in your life or the interactions you're having or, And that's why when you start to get right with yourself, you do a massive cleanup in your life. Because then you start to respect how you feel as an individual. It's not hating people. It's not cutting people off because they've done. No, it's how you internalize and how you process things. It's a lot different than how you've been programmed to do it all your life. Big time. That's why, I can just flow and I can be okay. And I don't, I spent my life on the go all the time, trying to do. Nah, I'm in a flow, in a perfect state of being right now. And I don't have to do anything but that. How do I know? Because that is the exact feeling that I get every day when I wake up, as if I'm out in nature, even if I'm not, because I'm grateful to be alive. So, not many can be like me, though. I understand that more so now than ever. I get it. Not too many people can, be okay no matter what. And I encourage everybody to be. And when things aren't for your highest good that keep you in balance, and what do I mean by that? Well, look, if people are irritating you, especially if they're doing it on purpose, they're not for your highest good. If people are playing games with you, well, and remember, whatever you allow people to do to you, it's you allow them to do to you. Nobody's doing anything to you. It comes down from your common choices. Common choices, your choices that are doing it to you, nothing else. Really, factually. Because it doesn't matter what we have to live. We all have a unique experience for a very collective reason. If everybody thought the same or processed everything the same or felt everything the same, what would there be a point of the experience anyway? There wouldn't be a point of it. But what's the whole point of this life experience? Well, right now, it's to break the karmic cycles that have been locking souls to this cycle for a long time, number one. Number two, it's to get it right with yourself first. But that's why the karmic cleanup has to be done inside yourself and in your lineage. And when you heal yourself, you heal your lineage. And you right now are sitting there with 14 generations of DNA sitting in you. 7 generations past and 7 generations ahead. So what you do with that affects both lineages, past and future. So once you get in tune with that and you heal and you learn to be still within your water, understand that it's leaking down. Yeah. So if you always want to be stressed out, well, your kids will have to correct that. Or your grandkids will have to correct that. If you want to be depressed, well, your kids will have to correct that. Do you want to not get right with your drinking problems or your drug problems or your emotional problems or your state of being problems or your repetitive destructive thinking problems? Well, guess what? Your kids are going to have to do that for you. And all the things that you've wanted to do that you accumulate regrets with, well, your kids are going to have to correct that. Factually. Whatever karma you don't clean up for yourself, well, that debt is passed on to your kids. How do I know? Because I had to do a massive karma cleanup and pay it forward in order to clean up the karma of my lineage. Yeah. Anyway, I told you guys it's going to be a jump around a lot of topics today, but there's a lot of things that you need to look at and see. And I've had a lot of questions, like, how do you know when something's for your highest good? Well, I did a video on it. Go out in nature. Feel how replenishing and rejuvenating that is for you. And that is the exact standard of how everything else should make you feel in your life. Yeah. So if you're settling for interactions that don't make you feel replenished, rejuvenated, and you walk away from feeling great, well, you're robbing yourself. Factually, and you're driving yourself into destruction. If you're laying down with a partner that's not your partner and it's just a pastime and it's creating conflict and chaos in your life, no matter if it's a man or female, well, guess what? Destruction. And why do I say destruction? Because it destroys your well-being. It destroys your balance. It destroys your harmony. It destroys your inner peace. It destroys your capacity to rejuvenate. It destroys your healing capacity. So it's either building you up to be a better person or it's destroying you. And how can you tell without thinking about it? Well, it's how you feel about it. So people, yes. Some people, I can just think about them and I feel rejuvenated. Well, then I know that these people are for my highest good. Right? But there are some people that come to mind and I'm like, oh boy. Because that's as much as I'll allow myself to think about them. Can't put my life force into thinking about anybody, but if the thought arises about them, I'm like, oh boy, they must be thinking about me. And that's where I leave it. I don't even question why I'm thinking about it, what's popping up, because half the time when these things pop up in your head, it's because the other person is sitting there thinking about you. Yeah. And they say telepathy is not real. Bullshit. Because anytime I send a vibe to anybody, I get a quick phone call. But do I do that often? No. No, I don't. I'm very choosy about where I put my energy lately. And I have been lately, too. And it's crazy because I got so many questions that came to me like, okay, how do you tell if it's your highest good? Well, I had to ask my boss about that explanation. And it was just put to me clearly, just associate it with nature. And how nature makes you feel is exactly how every interaction or personal choice in your life should feel. Rejuvenating and constructive and expansive for your being. Not destructive and smothering to you. Yeah. So, somebody asked me, one of the questions I got was, Tobi, do you like to debate? No, I don't. I don't like to argue with anybody. But I will stand my ground. It's a very different thing. So I appreciate that question. But no, I don't like to debate because I don't like to argue. You know what? Especially now in my life, and I'll give you a very valid reason why. Because look, I was born into an environment that there was constant arguing. Nobody talked in a way that was healthy to each other. Nobody. Constant yelling, screaming, constant, listen, I remember factually, every time I opened my mouth as a child, I was being told to lower my voice before I even spoke. Yeah. So what really do you have to say after you're always told to be quiet? Not much. And I realized too, with doing all the inner work that I have, that that's a lot of reason why I kept everything a secret for so long. Like the things that had happened to me young and certain things, because I was always told to be quiet. I was literally told to lower my voice and to be quiet all the time. Every single time I opened my mouth. Yeah. So growing up like that, you believe that your word doesn't matter. Can't stay true to that. You got to correct that. Got to correct that. You know, and that's why I say I speak my piece no matter who's in front of me, and nobody's going to silence me. But no, I do not debate. And I will not argue with dummies. And what's a dummy to me is somebody who's stuck and stupid by choice. And I see way too many people like that. I can educate them. They clearly understand and get it. And then the next time I see them, it's like it never existed. Yeah, so I don't debate with dumb. And I don't debate. I have nothing to prove to anybody. See, debates have, you're in a state of debating. You know, like you, I don't want to debate with anybody. If I can't enjoy somebody's time, I love having open communicative talks, but those aren't debates. Like I can speak openly, honestly about absolutely anything and be totally open to another's point of view or their opinion or whatever. But it's got to be meaningful to me, or there's no point in even having that conversation at this point. Factually. So no, I don't debate. I speak, but I won't debate. And when it comes to arguing, no. Especially now, I refuse to argue with anybody. I'll stand my ground though, and I'll say my piece. And I will make sure that I get through to them in a loving way for their highest good. Because it's obviously them in a destructive cycle, not me. So I meant to disrupt that cycle if there's got to be a change. Can't leave somebody in comfort their chaos of some destructive cycle if you want change. No, you got to be that abrupt force that stops it. And sometimes it does take a force to stop that spinning wheel of shame, blame, guilt, denial. You know? There's effects to throwing a brick into a cycle of a wheel, eh? There's effects. Well, sometimes that's what's needed, but I'm not going to debate with anybody, no. Not about that. I speak factually from the heart all the time. I don't speak from a blanket knowledge of programming, of disbelief and lies, and no, I don't. No, and I won't debate it either. So, another person said to me, so Tobi, you're single. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And another question was, am I talking to anybody right now? Of course. I talk to men all the time. But I don't chase men. No, I don't. Not at all. And I'm not about to at my age either. And after coming out of what I just lived for 2.5 years, I guarantee you, I am not opening up my heart or my door to any man who makes me feel other than how I feel in nature. Okay? Totally satisfied, complete, and totally nah. I'm complete and whole as a person, so they have to be also. With clearly knowing what they're up against. And this is another thing, eh? Because it was mentioned to me that if I'm talking to somebody, that I shouldn't be talking to anybody else. Well, if I'm just talking, then there's no harm in that. And if there was a man on the planet that wanted me, he would make it known. I don't need to chase nothing. I am a complete content person within myself. And I don't need to be looking for love from anybody because My boss and me loves me just fine. So I'm not going to settle for anything at this point in my life that is less than that. Because if I do, well, then I'm lacking my own self-love. Because if I know now what the capacity is to which I can love myself and love others, well, then I expect that reciprocated. And if not, forget it. I got better things to do than to settle, even if I'm doing nothing. Not at this point in my life, I won't. I won't. And no, I'm not just going to allow just anybody or anything to... No, forget that shit too. You got to win something over with me before you even get a chance. And that chance may lead you to a conversation. Oh, and that conversation, if you're lucky, will get you a second conversation with me. That's how I govern my interactions with everybody. I don't care what intentions they have for me. I have intentions for myself primarily. And what's that? To be stable and peaceful and loving within me and be able to be free from any lower density vibrational states of being, which is what? Self-hate, self-doubt, shame, blame, guilt, denial, judgment, fear, all of that shit. I don't contain it, so I'm not going to allow anybody else to infuse that my way or project it my way. I'm okay solo, eh? So my last breath, should it be like that, to maintain this state. And the gentleman that I decide to commit and settle down with for the rest of my life will enhance that state. And nothing but. Big head. Seriously, or I'm not settling for anything less. Because if I bring that and the next person brings that, together the power of that will literally make anything happen. So why would I settle for anything less? I've gone through all the wrong ones already. Literally. So that I could appreciate the right one that is meant to be for me. That's all. So it's all good. I appreciate the questions, though, because it triggers a lot of stuff. So, you know, that's why I said I'll be bouncing around today, because there's all kinds of questions that have been coming my way, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. But no, I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing to get anything that I can give myself. See what I'm saying? And a lot of women or men are like, well, I need somebody in my life to feel complete. They're going to make me whole. They're going to, yeah, all kinds of reasons, not me. Because factually, you know something? There was nobody that chose for me to beat death but me. There was nobody that decided to keep my limbs but me. So, you know, self-accountability and radical responsibility for who I am, trust me, I can't accept to be with anybody else that is less than that for themselves. Because if not, that's total destruction for me. Why? Because I'm a truth teller. So I need somebody who's a truth teller in my life. Okay? I won't settle for anything but. Factually. Because somebody who stands there and lies to you is also lying to themselves. Understand that. That's the correlation, eh? And they're not doing anything to you. They're actually doing it to themselves. Because when somebody chooses to lie, they cannot be truthful. Well, that's self-sabotage in the worst form. Just like if love is fueling us and somebody cannot embody love and allow that to be their sole state of their being, well, you're going to feel the effects of that. So who I am as a person today, I cannot accept anybody into my life to lay down with, period, who is not of the same magnitude as I am. It would be destruction for me, just as I just lived. Okay? And yes, there was another question too. Somebody mentioned to me, they called me out. They were like, hey, you mentioned this narcissist guy that you were just with. You mentioned your heart attack. You know, it's quite openly about what you just lived. But how did you attract him then if you had asked for somebody of the same magnitude? Well, I've said it. He is of the same magnitude as me, and he is a healer of the same magnitude as I am also. But he's a wounded healer just as I was. And what happens to the wounded healer? They play a fucking victim party, and they stay in a narcissistic cycle to themselves. So therefore, they project it on others. What does that cause from? Trauma, pain, guilt, suffering, denial, all that shit. So, and then I was asked, well, if you're a healer, why didn't you heal him? It's not about healing him. A healer doesn't heal somebody else. They embody a certain frequency and show somebody else how to heal. Now, it's up to that person whether they run with it or not. And yes, had he chosen to do the work, the inner work that he needed to heal his past, I would still be with him today. But no, he chose the same self-sabotaging cycle and demonic patterned programming and projected that on me instead. And instead of him healing and fueling that, no, he fueled his destruction and our destruction. Fine. I walk away totally accepting of it all. Because everybody's got free will and choice. Am I pissed off about it? Not one bit. You know how much I lost in that? It's not a loss. I don't take losses in life. Everything's a gain. So, get it straight now. Anything that may seem like a loss to somebody else, I see it as a gain. All the time. And I refuse to see it any other way. So I don't see things the way that people do. I find the good in every situation and stay neutral to it all. So, even on that topic, I find a lot of good out of that really bad situation that I just lived. I, at this point that I am, have found more good in all of that fucked up situation that pushed me to death twice in 2 years. I find a lot of good in that. And I walk away proudly. And I know clearly I was not the problem because I can love. And everything that I received from that man was not love. The only thing that I received loving from him was, oh, I love you. But every action showed me a very different story. Okay? So people are going to do that. Well, listen to people's actions and not what they are saying to you. Because communication is not just speech, eh? There's energetic communication, there's physical communication, there's verbal communication. Come on, there's all kinds of communication. Well, me, I'm solid and stable, and what I communicate to myself, primarily, zero chaos, so therefore, there is none of that when I'm speaking to somebody else. But somebody who's not clear and concise and all over the place and a bag of whirlwind of everything else but solid, well, expect that from them. And nothing but. And then you won't be disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all with what I just had to live with that man. I thank him for it all. Yeah. Just like I've thanked every one of my most excruciating moments of my life. I thank it. I love it. And I say, yeah, if I need to learn anything more, bring on some more. It's not a joke when I tell you I'm not coming back here to do this again. So yes, I will expand my consciousness to the ultimate, because I am not doing this again for nobody. No. So I got to learn as much as possible and be in the total solid state of solitude within. I got to be totally flowing with ease. And that's all that I choose to embody. No matter the interaction, the circumstance, the scenario, the nothing. I don't give a shit. Listen, I was emotional being all my life and it drove me to death. Emotions are to restabilize your being once you use them for you and not against you. Once you get a real knowledge of what they are, things will change. But we give our power to the most fucked up things. And everybody chooses to say, oh, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. No, it's because of how you choose to process it all. Uniquely to you and nothing but. Factually, it doesn't matter what. So me, I choose to process anything I have to live from clarity and peace and balance within my being, because that's the only place that's going to give me the right answers. You think while I'm in a state of an emotional reaction that I'm finding clarity in any of it? No, your brain doesn't work like that. Logic only kicks in once the emotion is gone. So if you choose to be in an emotional state of any kind at any given moment, there is zero logic entering your brain. So that means that you are producing those exact results in your life. Scattered, no concrete results, just, yeah, that's what happens. Simple as that. And you don't understand why you can't get ahead? Yes, because you're stuck in emotional states. There's no logic there. It's facts. It happens to the best of us. Well, I've mastered that too, and there's no emotion that's going to carry me anywhere. No. Because any emotion that you allow to embody, and it's not about, oh, well, this situation made me feel. No, it didn't. Not at all. Not at all. Self-mastery is far from that. Factually. How do I know? Because emotions almost killed me. That's how bad it had to get for me to learn. Yeah. You know, I pushed myself to death so much to learn, eh? Literally. And then tried to kill myself 3 times after it because I didn't want to live it. Imagine that. Nah, I don't make excuses for myself. I don't embody states that are destructive to me. And if there's a state of being that is anything but joyful and blissful and loving, it is fucking destructive. Destructive to what? Your clarity, your calm, your capacity to be constructive. In totality. No matter what it is. And, you know, I hope you guys all understand that I come out here and I don't speak from opinion. I speak from facts. Because if I don't know, I won't speak on it. Well, there's a lot that I know right now that even most are still blind to. And, you know, back to that point of, you know what the Ascension team is all about? You know why there's reincarnated assistants on this planet right now to shake this shit up? Well, because look at the emotional states everybody chooses to embody. Look at the functioning of how everybody chooses to function their life from. Well, the Ascension team are the ones that have walked the fucking pit of hell since birth, knowing that this place had to be rewritten. And have come out on the other side okay, no matter what we've had to live. And the intensity of what we've had to live is very much harder than any walk in the park fairy tale of disillusionment than the others who are not on the Ascension team have had to live. Why? Because we had to feel the thickest and the harshest of pains to learn how much it has to change. And you know something factually? Anybody on the Ascension team that I know is on the Ascension team is out there doing healing, sounds, healing, tarot, inspiration, talking, motivation. Nobody is silenced. But the ones that are claiming to be on the Ascension team, but they're not being of true service to themselves primarily, cannot be of service to others. So this is why I encourage everybody to get right with themselves and get solid in self-mastery. Flow like water over rocks no matter what. You think water squawks and cries about how the rocks are affecting its flow? No, it flows freely and fierce and finds its way, just like we're supposed to. Well, I empower you guys and I encourage you all to do that today. And not for anybody else but your own being. You're the master of the self. Nothing but. Self-accountability is key. Radical responsibility for the things that you choose to think, say, and do will change your life. 21 days of inner work rewrites your life. How many months have you been sitting in destruction? How many years have you been letting this go on for? Just imagine. 21 days you can rewrite your life. That's all your choice. I love you all. Have a great day. Get the most out of it and make the magic happen all the time. And never chase anything, because what's meant for you will come to you all the time in divine timing. Yeah. How do I know? Because you got to stay still in your being. How can you manifest anything if you're in chaos? You can't. And if you're in survival, you can't create either, because it's not a time to. So what does survival mode do? It puts you on fucking repeat, like a broken record. Well, how annoying is it to hear a record on repeat, skipping over and over and over and over? Well, to watch people in the same cycle over and over and over is just as annoying. Self-mastery is key, people. I love you all. Let's get it done. Love you all. Peace.